Chapter 31. When enemies meet, they become jealous of each other. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The crowd erupted as soon as they recognized the warship's insignia. It's the Luoyun sect. Didn't expect they'd bring so many people this time. You don't know the half of it. The Luoyun sect was recruiting in Biluo City recently. These must be newbies they're just taking back to the sect. Everyone's faces lit up with understanding. Just then, a screech echoed from above, and a massive shadow loomed overhead, stirring up a fierce wind. Huh? Everyone craned their necks to look up. A giant black eagle circled in the sky, carrying a crowd of people on its back, similar to the Luoyun sect setup. Plenty of fresh faces among them, their eyes wide with excitement. This was the Xianqing sect. Meanwhile, the scrawny old man on the Luoyun sect's bow frowned, clearly annoyed. He and his crew had arrived first, but now the Xianqing sect was stealing their thunder. Old Chen, he grumbled, that Xianqing sect is always pulling these attention-grabbing stunts. The old man on the Black Hawk immediately turned his gaze towards him, and said calmly, Du Qingfeng, attracting attention is just a show of skill. Are you jealous? That the old man burst out laughing. Du Qingfeng's face darkened at the laughter, then, a sneer crept across his lips. Humph, I'm not wasting my breath on you, he retorted. The Luoyun sect snagged all the top talent this year. If we hadn't limited the number of disciples, there wouldn't have been any scraps left for your Xianqing sect. Du Qingfeng wore a smug grin, his meaning crystal clear. Xianqing sect was only getting the rejects from Luoyun. The Xianqing sect elder's face tightened slightly, but he quickly regained his composure. Raw talent only gives you a head start. It doesn't guarantee anything. Du Qingfeng snorted, yeah, keep telling yourself that. With that, Du Qingfeng ignored the old man and guided the warship down for landing. Boom! The Black Eagle circled once more before touching down smoothly. Seeing the tension between the two factions, the crowd grew uneasy. While both the Luoyun and Xianqing sects were large, the Luoyun sect had been steadily gaining ground in recent years, creating a noticeable gap between them. Adding to the pressure, the Xianqing sect leader's health was failing. He'd been stuck at the peak of the void-breaking realm for ages. If he couldn't break through, his death was only a matter of time. The Luoyun sect leader, though only at the 9th level of the void-breaking realm, still had plenty of life left. Even if he didn't advance, he could likely outlive the Xianqing sect leader. Relations between the two sects had soured in recent years, with Luoyun sect dominating in almost every aspect. Everyone knew that once the Xianqing sect leader died, Luoyun sect would pounce without the protection of a void-breaking realm powerhouse. Taking over Xianqing sect would put the entire East Wilderness under Luoyun's control. So, while both sects were officially recruiting, most people flocked to Luoyun sect. Those who joined Xianqing sect were often the ones turned away by Luoyun. As members of the two major sects disembarked, the three leading families immediately approached them. Jiang Wenkong turned to his sons. You three brothers take a break. I'm going to go over and see what's happening. Jiang Yu nodded. Okay, father. Jiang Wenkong led a group of elders towards the sections. Jiang Chen's gaze locked onto Du Qingfeng, the Luoyun sect elder. He was the same elder who had visited the Jiang family with Yun Xixue to end the engagement. Jiang Chen also spotted Yun Xixue on the warship, standing calmly at the bow, her eyes filled with a cold pride. Like a haughty swan, he had to admit, Yun Xixue was beautiful, and her icy demeanor was undeniably attractive. Still, she paled in comparison to Xuanhuan Mingyue, who possessed both unparalleled beauty and a unique charm that Yun Xixue couldn't match. A man stood beside Yun Xixue, looking at everyone with disdain. When Jiang Yu saw Yun Xixue and her companions, his eyes narrowed, and a flicker of murderous intent surfaced before he quickly suppressed it. If not for Jiang Chen's elixir, he might have died already. Now that enemies met, they naturally couldn't avoid each other. Yun Xixue seemed to sense something. She turned towards Jiang Chen and their eyes met. Seeing Jiang Yu, she smirked, thinking, you never learn, do you? Since you're so stubborn, I'll show you just how vast the gulf between us has become. With that, Yun Xixue glanced at Jiang Yu before turning away, huh? The man beside her noticed Yun Xixue's gaze and followed her line of sight, quickly spotting Jiang Yu, his eyes darkened. Junior sister Yun, those Jiang family losers are here too. They got lucky last time. How about I take care of them for you this time? What do you say? A cold glint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. The man's name was Wang Ning, an inner disciple of the Luoyun sect. His father was an elder in the sect, giving him a high status that few dared to challenge. Yun Xixue shook her head. Thank you for the thought, senior brother Wang, but I can handle this myself. No need for you to get involved. Wang Ning smiled. Alright, since you insist, junior sister, I'll let him live a little longer. He looked at Yun Xixue with undisguised affection. From the moment he'd laid eyes on her, Wang Ning had been captivated by her beauty and unique charm. He considered her his woman. That was why he had tried to make a move against Jiang Yu when the younger man divorced her in public, even adding him to his personal hit list. If Yun Xixue hadn't intervened, Wang Ning would have secretly arranged for Jiang Yu to disappear. Chapter 32, Tit for Tat, no longer keeping a low profile. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Welcomed by several prominent aristocratic families, the elders from both the Luoyun and Xianqing sects took their seats. Their disciples were directed to the viewing platform, instantly livening up the atmosphere as everyone eagerly awaited the competition. Shortly after, Jiang Wenkong and the others returned, and the heads of the major families also settled in. The chatter died down. ****. Once everyone was quiet, an elder from the Xianqing sect cleared his throat. He slowly stood up, his eyes scanned the crowd. He announced loudly, "My name is Xuanhuan, and I'm an outer elder of the Xianqing sect. If you pass this test and want to join the Xianqing sect, I'll personally give you an entry token." Xuanhuan barely finished speaking when Du Qingfeng burst out laughing. He sneered, "Xuanhuan, you guys at Xianqing Peak sure aren't picky eaters. No wonder you've been getting weaker and weaker. Looks like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel." Ha ha ha. Du Qingfeng laughed openly. The newly recruited Luoyun sect disciples looked at the Xianqing sect disciples with contempt, a smug look on their faces, as if simply joining Luoyun sect made them superior. Xuanhuan glanced at Du Qingfeng, unfazed by the insult. He said coldly, "Du Qingfeng, planning to just stand there and yap?" Du Qingfeng retorted, "Humph, you're living in a dream world. You're so stubborn. Well, I'll give you a reality check and show you the difference between our two sections." He stood up from his seat, staring directly at Xuanhuan. He continued, "Let the assessment begin. I want to see who has the real talent here." As Du Qingfeng finished, Xuanhuan stepped forward to the center of the giant square and reached into his storage belt. Boom! A massive piece of black iron materialized, slamming onto the ground with a deafening roar. Click click click. Dust billowed as cracks spread across the ground, showing the extraordinary nature of the black iron. After the dust settled, Xuanhuan announced, "This assessment has two parts. The first, a strength test, will be overseen by the Xianqing sect. This star monument is made of black iron. Each inch of indentation requires 100 pounds of force. If you can exert 500 pounds of force, you'll pass the first test and move on to the second. The second part of the assessment is arranged by Luoyun sect. Prepare yourselves, because the assessment begins now." 500 pounds. Many people looked worried. Each level gained in the body forging realm only increases strength by a little over 200 pounds. The third level is around 700 pounds, and that's only if they have enough resources. Disciples from poorer families can't afford the herbs to temper their bodies. Their strength definitely won't be high enough. This first test alone would eliminate a large number of people. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen showed no reaction and walked over to Jiang Daoxin. He whispered, "Daoxin, don't hold back too much during the test. Just use about half your strength." Jiang Daoxin looked surprised. "Okay, second brother, I understand. But you know, big brother said something similar. He told me to not be too conservative and make sure we don't embarrass Dad." Jiang Daoxin grinned, his eyes full of anticipation. "Oh. Jiang Chen asked, Big brother talked to you about this too? Jiang Chen gently patted Jiang Daoxin's shoulder. Okay, I get it. Just try to stay in control and don't show off too much. Jiang Daoxin replied, I know, second brother. After talking to Jiang Daoxin, Jiang Chen strolled over to Jiang Yu. Big brother, what's your plan for the assessment? Jiang Yu smiled. I was just about to tell you. We don't need to show off too much, but we can't let them underestimate the Jiang family either. Jiang Chen understood immediately. His big brother was about to put on a show. Jiang Chen had thought Jiang Yu would let Jiang Daoxin reveal some strength to attract attention, then he'd stay in the background, working like a silent partner, but it seemed his big brother had no intention of keeping a low profile. Instead, he planned to publicly humiliate some of the prominent families. My older and younger brothers are like this. I definitely can't lag behind, or dad will lose face. Just then, Xuanhuan announced again. Alright, the assessment has begun. As Xuanhuan spoke, the participants formed two lines and started the first round of the assessment. Boom star, the first person stepped forward, he channeled his blood and qi and punched the Tianqing monument, creating a loud roar. The Tianqing monument indented about 6 inches under his punch. The disciple in charge of recording announced, Li Shan, body forging realm level 4. Force of 600 pounds, passed the first round. Go wait over there. Li Shan looked pleased and quickly responded. He moved to the designated area. Li Shan's success boosted the confidence of those behind him. However, when they actually took their turn, reality hit them hard. Boom boom boom, star. Lu Qing, failed. Zhao Zhong, failed. Failed. The consecutive failures stunned the people behind them. The tension returned. No way, someone at the 4th level of body forging failed. This assessment is way too hard. Yeah, the elimination rate is crazy. Boom star. A loud bang interrupted the crowd's discussion. Gu Xi, body forging realm level 5, tested 1,600 pounds, passed the first round. 600 pounds. The others looked shocked and stared at Gu Xi. A boy in gray slowly retracted his arm, looking calm and indifferent. However, when he glanced at the others, he showed a hint of superiority, as if no one was worthy of his attention. Chapter 33, The Truth is Revealed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Swish, right then, Du Qingfeng shot to his feet, his gaze locked onto Gu Xi. He boomed, Gu Xi, right? Join Luoyun sect, and you can skip the next 2 tests. I'll even guarantee you a spot as an outer disciple. Whoa! Du Qingfeng's offer dropped like a bomb, and everyone else's eyes flashed with envy. See, usually, after you pass this assessment, you start at the very bottom as a menial disciple. Only after clearing the second test inside the sect can you get promoted to outer disciple. Du Qingfeng just offered him that status outright. That's how much he valued Gu Xi's talent, and he's got a point. Du Qingfeng was snatching him up because he saw the guy's potential, hitting 1,600 kilograms at the 5th level of body forging. That screams solid foundation. With the sect's training, he could become a divine sea realm or even a creation realm expert. No way he'd let that chance slip. I mean, a creation realm expert is a big deal for any sect. But before Gu Xi could answer, Xuanhuan swung around to face Du Qingfeng. Du Qingfeng, he said, his voice like thunder, it's just the first test, and you're already poaching. Isn't that out of line? Is my Xianqing sect just chopped liver? Du Qingfeng scoffed, which sect someone joins is their business. Show me the rule that says they have to pass all the tests first. If you don't like it, try and stop him. If he wants to join your Xianqing sect, I won't say a word. With that, Du Qingfeng turned his attention back to Gu Xi. Xuanhuan wasn't backing down, he zeroed in on Gu Xi. My friend, Gu Xi, he said, join our Xianqing sect, and not only will you be an outer disciple, but I'll also throw in a top-grade Tongmai pill. Xuanhuan's offer didn't faze Du Qingfeng one bit, he just smirked. Everyone else was glued to Gu Xi, wondering which way he'd go. The offers were neck and neck. Gu Xi glanced at both of them. A smile played on his lips, then, with a slight bow to Du Qingfeng, that he said, "I'm in." "Gu Xi is ready to join Luoyun sect," Du Qingfeng roared, "Ha ha ha." "That's the spirit." As Gu Xi spoke, Du Qingfeng burst out laughing. He looked at Xuanhuan, a triumphant gleam in his eyes. "Looks like Luoyun sect is one step ahead again, old Chen. I'll take that rising star off your hands." Xuanhuan's face was like a thundercloud, but he kept his cool. "Don't get cocky," he shot back. "It's just the beginning. We'll see." "Oh, is that so?" Du Qingfeng grinned. "Today," he announced, "our sect will be taking 10 extra students. Don't miss your chance." 10 more spots. The crowd went wild, eyes blazing with excitement. They could barely contain themselves. Xuanhuan sputtered, "Du Qingfeng, you." Xuanhuan was fuming. Du Qingfeng was clearly gunning for Xianqing sect and he wasn't even trying to hide it. Du Qingfeng chuckled, "We'll see who comes out on top, Chen." "Ha ha ha." That with a hearty laugh, Du Qingfeng whisked Gu Xi away, leaving Xuanhuan to stew in his anger. Witnessing this scene, this made the others even more eager to join Luoyun's sect. The situation didn't drag on. The tests got back on track. Plenty of people got the boot, but just as many passed. As time ticked by, the line of hopefuls got shorter and shorter, and a big family started making their moves. First up was Bai Su. He glared at the Jiang family and strode up to the Tianqing monument, his blood pumping. Boom! Bai Su unleashed a savage punch, and the Tianqing monument shuddered. His strength topped out at the 6th level of body forging. Bai Su, peak of the 6th level of body forging, 1,800 kilograms. First round passed. The result caused a stir, but Bai Su wasn't thrilled. Gu Xi was weaker than him, but only 200 kilograms separated them. That meant, if they were on equal footing, Gu Xi would wipe the floor with him. It was a tough pill to swallow, but then he thought of the Jiang family's failure, and his mood instantly improved. Meanwhile, after witnessing this performance, Du Qingfeng spoke up again, "Bai Su, you're welcome to join Luoyun's sect right away. I'll make you an outer disciple." Bai Zhantang, who was standing nearby, beamed with pride. "Excellent. Now, Su'er will be able to join Luoyun's sect. Everything will be fine in the next action." On the other hand, Du Qingfeng's poaching made Xuanhuan want to bang his head against the wall, but what could he do? Xianqing sect had been losing ground for years. Sure, they still got their share of recruits, but most people wanted to join Luoyun's sect. Predictably, Bai Su jumped at Du Qingfeng's offer. Everyone else exchanged knowing glances. The assessment had barely begun and Du Qingfeng had already scooped up a bunch of disciples. The whole thing was turning into a joke as Bai Su stepped aside. Xiao Feng sauntered toward the Tianqing monument. He paused as he passed the Jiang family. He pinned Jiang Yu with a cold stare and sneered. "Jiang Yu, you used to be Shenfeng City's golden boy. I'm dying to see what you can do. And your Jiang family will pay for what you've done." His killing intent was unmistakable. Jiang Yu didn't flinch. He just looked back at him, unimpressed. "Oh, really? I'm looking forward to it." And with that, Jiang Yu turned away, dismissing Xiao Feng like he was nothing. Xiao Feng's eyes turned to ice. "We'll see how long you can keep that attitude," he hissed. Then, Xiao Yun moved another step. Jiang Chen replayed Xiao Feng's words in his head. His expression turned thoughtful. "Looks like Xiao Yun's secret is out. No wonder the big families have been acting so jumpy. They're planning something." A chill crept into Jiang Chen's eyes. Chapter 34 Xiao Family's Targeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a moment's thought, Jiang Chen refocused. He wasn't surprised that the Bai and Xiao families knew the truth. Kamikaze Castle wasn't that big, a little digging would uncover anything. But Jiang Chen didn't sweat it. If the Xiao and Bai families wanted to start a fight, he'd be happy to oblige. After all, the strongest person in Kamikaze City was only at the 5th level of the Divine Sea Realm. Jiang Chen was at that level himself, and with his twin pupils, outmatching them wouldn't be a problem. Meanwhile, Xiao Feng arrived at the Star Monument, his power at the 8th level of the body-forging realm on full display, his dark hair wild. Those watching gasped at the sight of Xiao Feng's energy and started buzzing. Wow, Xiao Feng's only in his early 20s and already broken through to the 8th level. He'll reach the Divine Sea realm soon. Yeah, if it weren't for Yun Xixue from the Yun family, Xiao Feng would be the top genius in Kamikaze City, hands down. Not so fast. Yun Xixue may have been recruited by Luo Yun's sect right away, but she's not necessarily better than Xiao Feng. They brought in several people as direct disciples just now. Everyone nodded in agreement, then fell silent, watching Xiao Feng, eager to see what he'd do next. Hiya! Xiao Feng roared and swung a fist, slamming into the Star Monument with all his might. A gust of wind whipped around him. Du Qingfeng, who was in charge, was surprised, a smile playing on his lips. Not bad, not bad. He controls his power perfectly. A rare talent. I never expected such potential in a backwater like Kamikaze City. Xuanhuan, standing nearby, didn't share Du Qingfeng's joy. He sighed. During the welcoming banquet the four families threw for them, Xuanhuan noticed something off. Except for the Jiang family, the other three leaned toward the Luoyun sect. They treated the Xianqing sect with respect, but Xuanhuan could feel it was just for show. It didn't take a genius to figure out Xiao Feng would choose the Luoyun sect. Xuanhuan sighed, remembering his experiences. Our Xianqing sect used to be the holy grail for cultivators. Now it's a struggle to recruit anyone. I've failed our ancestors. He clenched his fists. Meanwhile, everyone watched as Xiao Feng's fist hit the Star Monument, leaving a deep dent. The disciple recording the results stared, mouth agape. The wind from Xiao Feng's punch stung his cheek, snapping him back to reality. Xiao Feng, 8th level body forging realm, 5,000 pounds. What? 5,000 pounds, the crowd erupted, shocked. An 8th level body forging cultivator usually hits around 3,000 pounds. Xiao Feng blew that out of the water by 2,000. His reputation soared. Xiao Lingshan grinned, proud of his son. He glanced at Yun Xixue, a nasty smirk on his face. Bai Zhantang stayed quiet. His son's score was good, but next to Xiao Feng's, it seemed insignificant. The Jiang family frowned, looking uneasy. Jiang Wenyuan turned to Jiang Wenkang. Brother, the other three families are teaming up. With Xiao Feng's talent, the Jiang family could be in serious trouble. Jiang Wenkang replied, don't worry. This kid's got potential, but stay patient. Jiang Wenyuan, thinking of his son's recent progress, relaxed a little. As soon as Xiao Feng's results were announced, Du Qingfeng invited him to join, promising him extra perks. No surprise, Xiao Feng jumped at the chance to join the Luoyun sect. Xuanhuan realized the assessment was pointless. The second round was a joke. He used the time to pick a few disciples who'd passed the first round, but it didn't help much. Everyone else wanted to wait to become a Luoyun sect disciple. After all, the point of joining a sect was to get stronger, and the bigger the sect, the more resources you'd have to improve. With Xiao Feng's exit, everyone turned to the Jiang family. Xiao Lingshan sneered, Jiang Wenkang, everyone else is done. Now it's the Jiang family's turn. Let's see what your top genius can do. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Bai Su snorted. Top genius? He's just a loser who got dumped. What's there to see? Everyone looked at Jiang Yu, full of scorn, but Jiang Yu just looked at Bai Su like he was a clown, completely indifferent. He turned to Jiang Chen and Jiang Daoxin. Second brother, third brother, did you hear that dog barking? It's so annoying. Jiang Chen understood. He smirked and said, mad dogs like to bark. Someone needs to put that blind dog down. Bai Su's face turned red with rage, veins popping on his forehead. How dare you? Before Bai Su could speak, Du Qingfeng roared. He glared at Jiang Wenkang. Jiang Wenkang, I let your family off last time for Xixue's sake. I didn't expect you to be ungrateful and insult my disciples. Give me a good reason, or I'll teach you some manners myself. Du Qingfeng unleashed his power, instantly creating a terrifying pressure throughout the area. The temperature dropped. Chapter 35 Princess Xiao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The moment Du Qingfeng spoke, the air crackled with tension. Jiang Wenkang and the others wore grim expressions, thinking that after their last run-in, Du Qingfeng, while perhaps nursing a grudge against the Jiang family, would at least act like the sect elder he was and let it go. But it was clear now, Du Qingfeng was holding on to that past grievance, seizing this chance to take a swipe at the Jiangs. Bai Zhantang and his crew watched the scene unfold, practically drooling for the impending fallout. They couldn't wait to see the Jiang family squirm. Stepping forward, Chen Hongchuan's voice boomed, "What's this? Is Luo Yun sect stooping to schoolyard tactics? An elder, behaving like this over some petty spat? Last I checked, you can't dish it out if you can't take it. Are Luo Yun sect disciples the only ones allowed to talk trash?" Du Qingfeng's glare locked onto Chen Hongchuan. "Old Chen, what business is it of yours what Luo Yun sect does? I'd advise you to butt out." Chen Hongchuan scoffed, "Humph, Chen Hongchuan, am making it my business today. If you've got a problem with that, I'm happy to settle it right here." Du Qingfeng retorted, "You think I'm scared of you?" Boom. Crack, crack, Du Qingfeng's energy surged, a terrifying aura radiating outward, cracking the very ground beneath his feet. He looked ready to pounce on Chen Hongchuan at the slightest provocation, his stance radiating hostility. Not one to be intimidated, Chen Hongchuan channeled his energy, his eyes hardening, his posture straightening. Nearby, Wang Ning's eyes flickered with sarcasm. Turning to Yun Xixue, he muttered, "Looks like the Jiang family hasn't learned a thing. Daring to cross elder do like this? They're practically begging for trouble." Watching the two elders face off, Yun Xixue sneered, "Since the last debacle, my Yun family's severed ties with the Jiangs. If they're so eager to self-destruct, who am I to stop them?" She then turned away. Back to the standoff, Du Qingfeng drilled his gaze into Chen Hongchuan. "Chen Hongchuan, are you really going to make an enemy of me over a two-bit family?" Chen Hongchuan spat back, "Save the trash talk. Show me what you've got. I'm game to go the distance." Du Qingfeng snarled, "You've got a death wish." He tensed, ready to unleash an attack. "What's with all the anger, elders? Can't we all just get along?" A voice cut through the tension, drifting in from the edge of the square. Du Qingfeng's attack stalled. His head snapped toward the voice, his expression darkening. Being repeatedly challenged today had frayed his nerves, pushing him close to the edge. Seeing Du Qingfeng's glare, the crowd instinctively backed away, fearful of becoming his next target. As people scattered, a path opened. A trio strolled forward, led by a woman. Her face was a perfect oval, framed by delicate eyebrows and bright eyes, making her seem no older than 19. She wore a flowing purple dress, her beauty hit the crowd like a tidal wave, many visibly stunned, admiration shining in their eyes. "Wow, she's gorgeous. Oh my God, this woman is stunning. Only Miss Xuanhuan could compare." "You're right. Since Miss Xuanhuan disappeared, Yun Xixue has been touted as the most beautiful woman in Shenfeng City, but she's nowhere near this woman's league." The woman in purple, hands clasped behind her back, bounced along, eyes wide with innocent curiosity. As they drew closer, Du Qingfeng's frown deepened, then he tamped down his power. His eyes narrowed on the slightly overweight man to her left. "Lord Feng, I'm assuming this isn't within your jurisdiction," he said in a low voice. "Are you also here to bat for the Jiangs? Seems like a breach of protocol." "Lord Feng." The murmur swept through the crowd. "Wait, that city Lord Feng Haotian. Isn't the dynasty supposed to keep out of sect affairs? What's he doing here? And who is that woman? Even the city lord is walking behind her." A wave of realization washed over the crowd, their curiosity ratcheted up another notch, facing Du Qingfeng, Feng Haotian's face broke into a broad smile. Elder Du, you're jumping to conclusions. I'm just here to escort the princess for the assessment. No hidden agendas. Princess. Du Qingfeng's head swiveled toward the woman in purple. After a moment, his gaze shifted to the old man in black. Feeling the man's power, a flicker of fear flashed across Du Qingfeng's face, his expression turning grave. Feng Haotian amplified, yes, this is Princess Xiao, youngest daughter of the ancient prince. I'm here to help her with her entrance exam. Princess Xiao. On hearing these words, Jiang Wenqing gave Jiang Chen, who was standing aside, a strange look. Seeing his father's eyes, Jiang Chen looked confused. He couldn't help but ask, Dad, what's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Jiang Wenqing replied, no. Nothing. With that, Jiang Wenqing looked away. Amidst the hushed whispers, Jiang Chen pieced together the woman's identity. Her name was Gu Xiao, daughter of Gu Tianxiong, a prince of the Tianlong dynasty. Beyond his noble lineage, Gu Tianxiong possessed a powerful cultivation level, placing him in the void-breaking realm, making him a force to be reckoned with in the Tianlong dynasty. As for the man in black, he was Gu Xiao's protector, his strength on par with Du Qingfeng's. Both were creation realm cultivators. However, his aura radiated an intensity that dwarfed Du Qingfeng's. Elsewhere, Wang Ning's eyes locked onto Gu Xiao, a burning desire flickering within them. But remembering Yun Xixue's presence, he quickly tamped it down. At the same time, hearing the whispers comparing her to Gu Xiao, Yun Xixue's brow furrowed, her face soured. She had dreamed of joining Luoyun's sect with a bang, a shining star in the spotlight. But now, Princess Xiao had barged in, stealing her thunder before she'd even taken center stage. The interruption rankled, but realizing that the princess was also here to take the assessment, Yun Xixue's ugly expression softened a bit. So what if she's a princess? I, Yun Xixue, have talent to spare, even for royalty. Star bolstered, Yun Xixue's confidence returned. Chapter 36, 9th Level of Physical Training, 6000 Qi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He looked at Du Qingfeng in silence, Feng Haotian still wearing a faint smile. Elder Du, Elder Chen, Feng Haotian said, today's the sex recruitment day. No need to bicker over something trivial. How about I play peacemaker? The princess came all this way to take part in the assessment. Why don't you both just let it slide, pretend nothing happened? Du Qingfeng glanced at the man in the black robe. Since Feng City's lord has spoken, I'll drop it to give him face. But if anyone tries this again, they'll regret it. He looked pointedly toward the Jiang family, his meaning clear. Xuanhuan nodded to Feng Haotian, then reined in his anger. Jiang family. As soon as Gu Xiao heard Jiang family, she zeroed in on them and started walking their way. Jiang Chen, which one of you is Jiang Chen? Come on out. Her voice rang out. Gu Xiao's words drew everyone's attention. Curiosity sparked in their eyes, and they started whispering. What's going on? How does Princess Xiao know the second young master of the Jiang family? Did Jiang Chen tick her off? Probably. Maybe she's here to make trouble for the Jiangs. Man, the Jiangs are digging their own grave. Offending Luoyun's sect wasn't enough. Now they've ticked off Princess Xiao. No one can save them now. Of course, some had other ideas. Nah, if Princess Xiao was really ticked, she wouldn't bother doing it herself. Prince Gu loves her too much to let that happen. That made sense. Their curiosity grew. Even Du Qingfeng looked interested. How could this small Jiang family possibly be connected to Princess Xiao? The most confused person was definitely Jiang Chen. He was positive he had no idea who Princess Xiao was, and that he'd never seen her before. Jiang Yu and Jiang Daoxin turned to Jiang Chen, suspicion in their eyes. Jiang Chen said, I swear I don't know her. You believe me, right? Jiang Daoxin stammered, second brother, I I believe you. Seeing Jiang Daoxin's doubt, Jiang Chen wanted to kick him. Just as everyone was speculating, Jiang Wenqing stood up and said gently, Xiao, it's been so many years. You've grown into a beautiful young woman. Asterisk Jiang Wenqing's words raised eyebrows. It sounded like there wasn't conflict between them, that they were friendly. Xiao paused. Are you Uncle Wenqing? She asked tentatively. Jiang Wenqing chuckled. I didn't think you'd remember me. You were only 3 years old then. That confirmed it for Xiao. She said brightly, Uncle Wenqing, it's been over 10 years. My dad always wanted to repay your kindness, but he's been too busy. I hope you weren't offended. Jiang Wenqing laughed. No offense taken. It was just a coincidence that I helped a little. Your dad gave me plenty of resources. If anything, I got the better deal. The other 3 major families exchanged worried glances. The Jiang family had connections to Prince Gu. They'd been planning to move against the Jiangs after the assessment, but now this happened, catching them off guard. Xiao Lingshan cursed, damn it, what kind of luck did Jiang Wenqing have that he's tied to Gu Tianqiong? Does this mean my son's death was for nothing? His fists clenched. Just then, Bai Zhantong walked over. It might not be so bad, he said quietly. Even if Jiang Wenqing and Prince Gu have crossed paths, they probably aren't close. Otherwise, Jiang Wenkong wouldn't be head of the Jiang family. Xiao Lingshan perked up, hope returning to his face. Okay, after this is over, we'll look into Jiang Wenqing and Prince Gu's relationship. If they're just casual acquaintances, we can move in directly. After a short conversation, Jiang Wenqing turned to Jiang Chen. Chener, why don't you say hello to Princess Xiao? Can't you see she's looking for you? Though still confused, Jiang Chen stood up and turned to Xiao. Hello, Princess Xiao, he said slowly. Xiao asked, you're Jiang Chen? Her eyes scanned him. After a moment, she muttered, he's pretty, but he's just a pretty boy. I don't see anything special about him. Her face showed a hint of annoyance. Listening to the little girl's mutterings, Jiang Chen felt weird and couldn't figure out what she was getting at. She searches him out and then acts disgusted. He was at a loss. Just then, the old man in black robe came to Xiao's side. His voice was raspy. Princess, let's do the assessment first. We can deal with the Jiang family later. The prince said everything's up to you, and he'll make it up to you. Xiao said, okay, let's do the assessment first. The old man in black robe turned to Du Qingfeng and the others. Can we continue? Du Qingfeng nodded slightly. Yes, Princess Xiao, please go ahead. Xiao stepped up to the Tianqing monument, raised her pale arms, and casually punched the monument. Boom, the Tianqing monument crumbled, revealing Xiao's 9th level of body training, her strength displayed for all to see. The disciple in charge of registration saw this and his eyes popped. Princess Xiao. 9th level of physical training, 6,000 pounds. He shouted excitedly. Wow! The crowd erupted. Being able to hit 3,000 pounds at the 9th level of body training was considered good, but Princess Xiao had doubled it. This was genius level. But considering she was Prince Gu's daughter, everyone figured it was natural. As the daughter of a prince, she'd have access to plenty of resources, and her body would have been tempered in ways they couldn't imagine. Chapter 37 Yun Xixue comes on stage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Xiao's score, Du Qingfeng's face tightened, and his eyes lit up. Word was getting around that members of the royal family were interested in recruiting Princess Xiao into their sections. Du Qingfeng was all for it. These royal family members usually form their own factions and recruit geniuses to compete for power down the line. It might seem like poaching, but their presence brought the sect advantages when it came to acquiring spiritual stones and resources. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement. Besides, these were true geniuses. Each had their own ego. They couldn't just be bossed around. So, all things considered, the royal family's involvement was more of a plus than a And with Princess Xiao's incredible talent, Du Qingfeng wasn't about to let her slip into Xian Qingzong's hands. With that in mind, Du Qingfeng smiled and turned his attention to Gu Xiao. He boomed, "The princess is truly gifted, a chip off the old block. She's got it where it counts." After a moment, he continued, "If Princess Xiao is willing to join Luoyun's sect, I can recommend you as an inner disciple. With your talent, becoming a core disciple wouldn't be a problem." Du Qingfeng's words stunned everyone, including Yun Xixue. Even with her awakened ice body, she only qualified as an inner disciple, but Gu Xiao, with her raw strength, was getting the same treatment. Yun Xixue couldn't wrap her head around it. Yun Xixue scoffed, 6,000 pounds is nothing. My ice body is only partially complete. I'll show you what a real genius looks like soon enough." With renewed confidence, she lifted her chin. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen observed Gu Xiao's result. He nodded in approval, but then he looked up and found Gu Xiao looking at him with a hint of defiance. This only deepened the confusion in Jiang Chen's mind. Everyone assumed Gu Xiao would jump at the chance to join Luoyun's sect, like Xiao Feng and the others. But she gave an unexpected answer. Gu Xiao said, "Thank you, Elder Du, for your offer, but the assessment isn't over yet. I'd like to wait until it's finished before deciding which sect to join." Kindness. The old man in the black robe's expression turned grim. Before they left, Gu Tianxiong had made it clear that Luoyun's sect was their first choice, but now, despite the generous offer, she was hesitating. Though confused, the old man remained silent. His only job was to protect Gu Xiao. Everything else was outside his jurisdiction. When Du Qingfeng heard Gu Xiao's answer, his smile faltered, but he quickly regained his composure. After a dry laugh, he said, "Haha, no problem. Take your time, princess." Xuanhuan saw an opportunity. He jumped in, "Princess, if you join the Xianqing sect, you'll also get inner disciple status. Pass the sect's internal assessment, and you'll be promoted to core disciple within a year, guaranteed." Xuanhuan looked at Gu Xiao expectantly. Luoyun's sect had snagged most of the geniuses. Now that he had a chance, he wasn't going to miss it. Gu Xiao replied, "Thank you, Elder Chen, for your consideration. I'll keep it in mind." Though a little disappointed, Xuanhuan maintained his smile. "Better to think things through. Our Xianqing sect welcomes the princess anytime." Gu Xiao didn't say yes, but she hadn't outright rejected him either. Some hope was better than no hope. Seeing that everyone had had their say, Du Qingfeng turned his attention to Yun Xixue, not wanting to wait any longer. "Xixue," he said, "the princess has already gone. You should go up and try it out. Next up is the second round of assessment." Yun Xixue immediately rose from her seat. She headed towards the star monument. Passing by the Jiang family, she shot Jiang Yu a look of disdain. Then, she quickened her pace. Soon, she stood before the star monument. As Yun Xixue stepped forward, the crowd perked up. If not for Gu Xiao's surprise entry, Yun Xixue would have been the star of the show. Now, everyone was eager to see who was more talented, Princess Xiao or Yun Xixue. Kacha kacha. A slight noise caught everyone's attention. What's going on? Why did it get so cold all of a sudden? Look! The ground around Miss Xixue is freezing. Incredible. Everyone turned to see what was happening. It's true what they say. Miss Xixue really has the ice body. No wonder Luoyun's sect took her in as an inner disciple. Her talent is terrifying. The crowd nodded in understanding. Even the old man in black robes looked shocked. Anyone with a special physique had a good chance of reaching the creation realm or even the cave heaven realm, barring any unforeseen events. He never expected someone with a physique to appear in a place like Kamikaze City. Seeing the shocked looks on everyone's faces, Du Qingfeng smirked and gave Xuanhuan a triumphant look. Xuanhuan looked away. Out of sight, out of mind. Boom! Kacha kacha. Yun Xixue punched the star monument, unleashing a wave of frigid air. Frost covered the star monument. 7,500 pounds, the disciple in charge of recording shouted, his eyes wide with shock. Wow! The crowd went silent. They had felt Yun Xixue's aura, her cultivation was on par with Princess Xiao, and yet, she had exceeded Princess Xiao by over 1,000 pounds. This proved that her talent was superior to Gu Xiao's. Yun Xixue was ecstatic. With such a genius in the Yun family, their status would rise, and their ascent was unstoppable. Seeing Yun Xixue's results, many were already plotting how to win favor with the Yun family. Chapter 38 Jiang Family appears, shocking everyone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whoa! Yun Xixue slowly lowered her hand, taking a long, calming breath. A faint smile touched her usually icy features. Then, she turned her gaze toward Gu Xiao, but she noticed something. Gu Xiao wasn't even paying attention to her. She kept glancing toward the Jiang family's direction. The smile vanished from Yun Xixue's face. She felt insulted by Gu Xiao's complete lack of interest. Immediately, Yun Xixue shifted her attention to the Jiangs, but they weren't looking at her either. The three brothers were deep in conversation, laughing among themselves. Crack. Click, Yun Xixue's fist clenched tight, knuckles popping. The air around her seemed to grow a little colder. Seriously. I'm Yun Xixue, the one everyone should be watching. How dare they ignore me? They'll regret this. Even though everyone was stunned by Yun Xixue's show of power, they didn't say much. After all, she had that ice body thing going on. While she was stronger than Gu Xiao, the other woman was a princess, so they held back from openly judging her. If Yun Xixue was compared to others, her talent wouldn't stand out, so, there was this awkward silence. Everyone just stared at Yun Xixue, waiting to see what happened next. This wasn't how Yun Xixue had imagined things going at all. It only made her mood worse. Ahem. Just then, Du Qingfeng clearly caught on to the situation. After clearing his throat, he announced in a low voice, "All right, the first round is over. Let's move on to the second." Du Qingfeng started to move the star monument. Wait! A shout came from the Jiang family's side, stopping Du Qingfeng in his tracks. Huh? Du Qingfeng slowly turned around. He looked over at the Jiangs. It was Jiang Chen who had called out. Du Qingfeng's face darkened instantly. He snapped, "What is it? Got something to say?" Jiang Chen, unfazed by Du Qingfeng's sour look, met his gaze directly. He replied calmly, "Elder Du, we from the Jiang family haven't had our turn yet." "Why are you saying the first round is over?" Du Qingfeng scoffed. He said sarcastically, "The Jiang family. Testing you guys would be a waste of time. You're going to fail anyway. It doesn't matter if you even try." Ha ha ha. Du Qingfeng's words were met with a wave of laughter from the disciples of the Luoyun sect. Pfft. Bai Su, standing nearby, sneered. He said coldly, "Jiang Chen, you really think Jiang Yu is still some kind of genius? Don't embarrass yourself. Yeah, losers need to know their place and stop wasting everyone's time." Meanwhile, Gu Xiao, watching Jiang Chen's calm defiance, was a little surprised. She couldn't help but glance at him again. The reason Du Qingfeng couldn't gauge Jiang Chen and his brother's strength was because they were using a technique to hide their aura. A few days after Jiang Chen started cultivating, he taught this technique to Jiang Yu and Jiang Daoxin. They'd all agreed, without saying it, that they wouldn't ask too many questions about where these things came from, so, after Jiang Chen taught them the technique, they just started practicing without asking where he had learned it. Enough. Suddenly, a loud voice cut through the noise, silencing everyone. Xuanhuan stepped forward. He said sternly, "Anyone who meets the requirements can participate in the test, no matter their talent." Xuanhuan turned his attention to Du Qingfeng. He said sharply, "Du Qingfeng, you're an elder of this sect. If you don't even follow the rules, how can you expect anyone to respect you?" Du Qingfeng, "Fine. Just fine. Since you're so keen on embarrassing yourselves, I'll let you show me what the three geniuses of the Jiang family are made of." His voice dripping with sarcasm, he emphasized the words "three geniuses." Du Qingfeng slowly sat back down. Yun Xixue used the opportunity to return to the Luoyun sect's area. She looked at Jiang Chen and his brothers facing off against Du Qingfeng like they were clowns. In her mind, they were just trying to get attention. As soon as Wang Ning spotted Yun Xixue, he rushed over with a smile. Junior sister, your ice body is getting stronger and stronger. Even Princess Xiao can't compare. Yun Xixue, thank you, senior brother. She responded calmly to Wang Ning's compliment and then fell silent again. Wang Ning glanced over at the Jiang family. Right now, Jiang Chen was standing firm against Du Qingfeng's blatant mockery. He turned to Jiang Daoxin. He said in a low voice, Daoxin, since Elder Du wants to see what the Jiang family can do, let's give him a show. Jiang Daoxin, got it, second brother, asterisk boom, star. He shot toward the star monument without hesitation, asterisk thump, star. Before anyone could react, Jiang Daoxin's fist slammed into the monument. Because Jiang Daoxin had his back to the crowd and his arm blocked their view, they couldn't clearly see what was happening. Even though they couldn't see the monument clearly, they could see that Jiang Daoxin had the strength of the 8th level of the heart training realm, which shocked everyone into silence. How is this possible? How does Jiang Daoxin have the strength of the 8th level of body training? No one could answer that question, asterisk swish, star. Du Qingfeng shot up from his seat, his face twisted with rage. He'd completely misjudged the situation. Still, he didn't believe the Jiang family could actually achieve anything. He snapped, Xiaoping, what are you standing around for? Report the results. Xiaoping snapped out of it. He stammered, Jiang Daoxin, strength, 8th level of physical training, achievement, 20,000 pounds. What? 20,000 pounds. After Xiao Ping's announcement, the scene fell silent. Everyone held their breath, stunned. Impossible. I don't believe a loser like Jiang Daoxin could hit 20,000 pounds. Bai Su tried to deny it. He shouted, barely suppressing the shock in his voice, the 8th level of body training hitting 20,000 pounds. That was unheard of. Chapter 39 Jiang Daoxin's Terrifying Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yun Xixue shot to her feet, her eyes wide with disbelief. Meanwhile, Xiao Lingshan and the others wore gloomy, uncertain expressions, falling into a stunned silence. Even the usually composed old man in black showed a flicker of surprise, his eyes narrowing slightly. Feng Haotian's smile vanished, replaced by a look of genuine shock. As the city lord of Kamikaze City, he had some knowledge of the Jiang family's situation. Jiang Daoxin wasn't known for his exceptional talent. His cultivation had previously been stuck at the 3rd level of body training, but now, after only a short time, Jiang Daoxin had skyrocketed to the 8th level. Coupled with Gu Xiao's recent visit to the Jiang family, Feng Haotian pieced everything together, asterisk the Jiang family is more than meets the eye, asterisk he realized. No wonder they're connected to Prince Gu. From that moment on, Feng Haotian resolved to cultivate a strong relationship with the Jiang family. Elsewhere, Gu Xiao was equally surprised, her big eyes sparkling with curiosity as she watched the Jiang family. What's going on? She wondered. This is completely different from the information I received. Suddenly, Du Qingfeng darted forward, heading toward Jiang Daoxin, clearly intending to test his strength personally, but Xuanhuan, interpreting this as a potential attack, intercepted him. Du Qingfeng, what do you think you're doing? Not on my watch. He declared, blocking his path. Xuanhuan wore a proud smile. Du Qingfeng's face soured. The growing rift between the Luoyun sect and the Jiang family meant Jiang Daoxin would almost certainly end up with the Xianqing sect. Handing such a talent to their rivals was a bitter pill to swallow. Suppressing his frustration, Du Qingfeng snapped, Chen, I don't have time for games. I just want to verify his strength. Is that too much to ask? Xuanhuan chuckled. Of course, you can test him, but I have to ensure the kid's safety. How about we go together? Fine, Du Qingfeng grumbled, his face like thunder. He felt as though he had swallowed something rotten. Reaching Jiang Daoxin, Xuanhuan flashed a warm smile, completely ignoring Du Qingfeng. Kid, are you interested in joining the Xianqing sect? I can get you a spot as an inner disciple. Du Qingfeng, who had been examining the star monument, scoffed. Xuanhuan, after all these years, your Xianqing sect is still as inflexible as ever. Just an inner disciple slot for someone this talented. that he turned his attention to Jiang Daoxin. Join the Luoyun sect, and I'll overlook any past transgressions by the Jiang family. I guarantee you'll become a core disciple in no time. His investigation had confirmed Jiang Daoxin's incredible strength. He had to prevent such a prodigy from joining Xian Qingzong. Chen Hongchuan's expression darkened. What do you know? Strength earns you a core disciple spot eventually. Some ground-level experience is good. What if you became a direct disciple before that experience? Du Qingfeng retorted, sounds like your Xianqing sect is simply incapable. He turned back to Jiang Daoxin, awaiting his answer. Meanwhile, the heads of the three major aristocratic families were deeply troubled. If Jiang Daoxin became a core disciple of the Luoyun sect, they'd be lucky not to be swallowed whole, let alone deal with the Jiang family. Jiang Wenkong and the others shared their concerns. While Jiang Yu and Yun Xixue were rivals, Du Qingfeng's offer was too enticing. If Jiang Daoxin became a core disciple, Yun Xixue would pose no threat. However, they were wary of Du Qingfeng. His current attitude felt insincere. Although he offered a core disciple position, his face told another story. They quickly realized Du Qingfeng's true motive: prevent Jiang Daoxin from joining the Xianqing sect. The core disciple promise was likely a ruse. After the initial shock, Yun Xixue regained her composure, but her aura turned icy cold. She was growing tired of being overshadowed. She could tolerate Gu Xiao, but she now despised the Jiang family even more. They had dared to mock her. Sensing Yun Xixue's agitation, Wang Ning spoke softly. Xixue, don't worry too much. Jiang Daoxin is just a little stronger. You have an ice body. Once you reach the divine sea realm, you'll crush him. He paused, a cruel smile forming on his lips. Besides, if Jiang Daoxin joins the Luoyun sect, I can take care of him. Elder Du won't let him grow into anything. Yun Xixue nodded in agreement, but remained silent, her eyes fixed on Jiang Daoxin. Just as everyone anticipated Jiang Daoxin accepting the Luoyun sect's offer, he delivered a shocking response. I don't care about core disciples, Jiang Daoxin declared. My brothers plan to join the Xianqing sect, so it doesn't matter if you make me a direct disciple. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Did he just refuse? Is he crazy? Turning down a core disciple spot for an inner disciple. Jiang Daoxin is truly something. Du Qingfeng's face darkened. Insolent, enraged, Du Qingfeng unleashed his powerful aura, pressing down on Jiang Daoxin, but Chen Hongchuan stepped forward, shielding him. Du Qingfeng, a creation realm powerhouse attacking a junior? Aren't you ashamed? Du Qingfeng scoffed. Proud of nothing, this kid has mediocre physique, and is just a little stronger than others. Only you would treat him like treasure. Hearing Jiang Daoxin's rejection, the three major aristocratic families breathed a collective sigh of relief. Then, Jiang Chen rose from his seat, his eyes fixed on Du Qingfeng. Elder Du, he said calmly, I wonder if the genius of my Jiang family catches your eye. There was a hint of mockery in Jiang Chen's words. This old guy had been targeting the Jiang family, and now he had an opportunity to annoy him. Du Qingfeng sneered. I don't see anything special. Jiang Yu chuckled and looked at Jiang Chen. They both rose from their seats. Chapter 40, Lao Liu is by my side. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Du Qingfeng's eyes narrowed, a hint of sarcasm twisting his face. In his mind, Jiang Chen and his brother were just showing off, trying to impress everyone. The onlookers were curious. Gu Xiao, propping up her cheek, scanned Jiang Chen with a thoughtful gaze. Bai Su, initially eager to mock them, remembered Jiang Daoxin's earlier success and bit back his words. So, Du Qingfeng sneered, you two want to test yourselves too? Jiang Chen and Jiang Yu ignored him, striding toward the Star Monument. Their power grew with each step. Suddenly, Xiao Lingshan and the others shot to their feet, their faces etched with disbelief. What the? Bai Zhantong sputtered, how is this possible? Body training level 8. What's going on? Xiao Lingshan cursed, damn it. The Jiang family's been playing possum this whole time. They made us look like fools. His eyes blazed with sudden, fierce anger, then, he felt a gaze on him. He looked up to see City Lord Feng Haotian watching him, his expression unreadable. Worse, Xiao Lingshan sensed a warning in his eyes, his face darkened. This was bad. If the City Lord favored the Jiang family, they were powerless to act. The Luoyun sect might be strong, but they wouldn't risk war with a dynasty over a minor noble family. Yun Xixue and Bai Zhantong realized this too, their faces mirroring his dismay. The old man in black looked equally perplexed, his strange expression deepening. He'd reviewed the Jiang family's file before coming. Now, it seemed everything in that file, except their names, was wrong. What is Shadow Pavilion even good for? Getting information wrong. I'm going to have to give the prince a heads up when I get back. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen and his brother unleashed their power in a wild surge, simultaneously smashing their fists into the star monument. Boom. Boom, asterisk. Everyone watched with bated breath, but when Jiang Chen saw his brother's score, he nearly choked. All that fanfare, and he only managed 15,000 pounds. He, on the other hand, even holding back, still hit 40,000. Seeing his questioning look, Jiang Yu smiled knowingly. He whispered, "Little brother, I'll leave you and Daoxin the spotlight. I prefer to keep a low profile." Jiang Yu winked, "Crap, Lao Liu is standing right next to me." Jiang Chen looked at the crowd staring expectantly at him, and wore a dejected expression. Across the way, Yun Xixue's face was blank. She was numb from the endless shocks and surprises of the day, but the hatred in her heart burned hotter than ever. This time, no one needed to announce the scores. Everyone could see them. The scene fell silent. Gu Xiao's eyes widened at Jiang Chen's results, a smile playing on her lips. Finally, Jiang Yu broke the silence. Looking straight at Du Qingfeng, he asked, "Elder Du, did my little brother's unremarkable talent catch your eye?" That the code for special was unremarkable, the crowd nearly lost it. If that was unremarkable, what were they? Trash. Hearing his brother's deliberately provocative words, Jiang Chen just rolled his eyes. Du Qingfeng sucked in a long breath, his gaze lingering on Jiang Yu before settling on Jiang Chen. Humph. He didn't answer, simply snorting dismissively. Turning to address the rest, he announced, "The first round is over. We will now proceed to the second round." Du Qingfeng produced a formation disc from his robes and tossed it into the air. It activated, creating a small array. The second test is stress resistance. If you can withstand the pressure for half the time it takes to burn an incense stick, you pass. With that, Du Qingfeng turned and strode away, heading towards the Luoyun sect gathering. His eyes now burned with unadulterated malice, his fists clenched tight. I'll make the Jiang family pay. And that old fool Xuanhuan will regret today, too. Kindness. Jiang Yu and Jiang Chen both felt the wave of hatred. They exchanged a look, their own eyes hardening. Du Qingfeng had just made their kill list. In stark contrast to Du Qingfeng's fury, Xuanhuan was practically beaming. His eyes were nothing but slits. 3 new geniuses for free. Anyone would be delighted. Xuanhuan approached Jiang Chen and his brother. "You too, you heard what I said to Daoxin. If you join the Xianqing sect, I'll get you some extra rewards from the sect." Jiang Chen glanced at his brother, then smiled. "We're in your care, Elder Chen." "Ha ha ha. Excellent, excellent." Xuanhuan roared with laughter. Then, Gu Xiao stood up. "I won't participate in the second round." "Does what Elder Chen said still apply?" The old man in black's expression changed immediately. "Princess, you." Gu Xiao cut him off. "Mr. Zhou, I'll explain it to my father." "Don't worry." The old man hesitated, then swallowed his objections. He knew the prince doted on his daughter. Her mind was made up. Xuanhuan understood immediately what Gu Xiao was doing. "Of course, Princess Xiao. Join the Xianqing sect, and those benefits are yours. Gu Xiao smiled. Okay, then I'll join the Shenqing sect. She even gave Jiang Chen a meaningful look. Du Qingfeng, witnessing all this, grew even darker. His knuckles turned white.